Open your ears and lube up your butthole. It's time for the What Do We Call It podcast. Now, here's your host. It's Jmann. Welcome to the What Do We Call It podcast. I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
So we're going to go back in time about 2 months now.
Okay.
There was a story of a guy who got stabbed outside of a local Cub Foods.
That's a bummer.
Do you recall it at all?
No. I don't watch the local... Is that local news or is that...
Yeah, local. So, 54-year-old Jeffrey J. Miller fatally stabbed during a confrontation in the parking lot of a Cub Foods near Lake Street and Hiawatha.
Are parking spots that hard to get there? What was it about?
So, apparently it was an argument that started in the store, and then they forced these two guys outside. Black guy, white guy. Doesn't matter, they're both in their 50s. I don't know what they were fighting about. So they go outside, or they're getting outside, and the white guy throws a fucking parking cone at the black guy.
Somebody got angry.
Which is a little hilarious that somebody threw a parking cone.
You're 54 years old or 50 years old. How childish can you fucking be?
Black guy gets a knife. Some sort of physical confrontation ensues. Black guy, like, discus punch, swings the knife, catches white dude in the temple. He goes down, and while they're waiting for the authorities to come with the ambulance, people that are responding on the scene are stopping the black guy from leaving, but more importantly, tending to the victim, who is now talking unintelligibly.
I think taking a blade to the side of the head would probably make anybody stutter a little bit and not sound right.
Yeah, so I think it was just a little fold-out pocket knife or something. Really, that's not the main point here. Here's my lame claim to fame. The guy that died, the guy that got stabbed in the head, because you don't normally, live through that shit.
Not usually.
He is the cousin of my stepdaughter's father.
Well, that's sad to hear. I feel a little bad that he died, but... I'm not going to wish bad things upon people that are related to individuals that I know that I do not like. But here's the point of why this should not have happened. The guy that did the stabbing has like a laundry list of fucking offenses. Is this another one of those things where he goes through the court system over and over and over again because the liberals believe that you can be changed or whatever, career criminals don't exist? So he kept given probation by a liberal judge who wanted to give us 17th, 18th chance.
More of a political slant than I'm willing to put on it. But yeah, something where somebody was being kind of a puss and they didn't lock him up. And I'm going to bring up his rap sheet now. I understand
the one or two times, but if he has a long rap sheet, that's not being a little puss. That's just being flat out, I don't care about society and I'm going to let this criminal roam free. Because eventually he's going to do something that is really bad, and it might be to somebody that I don't agree with. Okay, maybe going a bit too far there, but you know what I mean.
You don't have to tell me about them being pussies in the criminal justice system. I worked in it for 11 years. I know that a lot of people get a lot of extra strikes. I mean, you hear all the time about these people that have, like, it's bad enough somebody has like 3-4 DUIs.
Yeah.
But you hear the stories like, man gets 12th DUI.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
It's like, and it comes down to, how do you... I think we've had this discussion before. Like, how do you honestly, even if you take somebody's driver's license away, how do you keep them from driving a car? Somebody will loan them a car. There's some loser asshole that the friend or family member is going to let them use a car. Or they'll just buy a car with cash or finance a car. But wait a minute, you need a driver's license for that, don't you?
Typically, yeah.
Yeah. But outside of that, how do you keep them from driving, honestly?
You can't.
Only real option is to throw them in jail. And as pathetic as it is that you have to serve jail time because you drink and drive because you're an idiot, it seems like a waste of prison space for actual criminals. But at the same time, it's like, dude, you're doing something illegal.
So now, in honor of this gentleman who died, Mr. Miller here, I would like to say that the guy, the assailant, should not have been walking free. He's got a long rap sheet. He's got a lot of, public intoxication and public urination charges, which are piddly, no pun intended. It's just stupid shit. But then you look at some of his other rap sheet, and he's got previous convictions for criminal sexual assault, basic assault, drug possession.
String them up. Sexual assault of any kind. Well, okay, let's. I mean, what kind of sexual assault was it? Did it say? Like, did he feel up his nephew or something, or did he rape somebody?
Well, let's see here. A longtime felon with a rape conviction and dozens of other convictions. He was found in his residence nearby and arrested. You know, now he's facing second-degree murder charges. This will get him in for life, but this is somebody that should not have been necessarily free. Like, he slipped through the cracks. He just keeps fucking up. So he's got habitual recidivism, and a lot of it has to do with substance abuse.
Yeah, but substance abuse or not, I mean, no judge should let him walk away after a rape conviction. No judge should let him walk away after assault. He should be doing time.
I could slap you in the face. It's assault.
Okay, well, if we want to argue the degrees of it, yes, then I would like to know what type of assault. What was it? Did he punch somebody in the head? Or did he, like, put somebody in a hospital, you know?
Well, that's where you get the varying degrees of assault. First, second, and third, depending upon how much damage you do and if you've used a weapon.
No, third degree would be the worst one, right?
No.
No? Third degree
goes up. Well, the numbers go down as the more serious nature goes up.
Okay.
So this guy should not have been walking free. For all intents and purposes, he's a habitual recidivist. And like I've said time and time again, like if we just get rid of sex offenders and people that are just terrible human beings, people like this would still be alive, the victim. Like, he didn't have to die. Wrong place, wrong time, I guess, because he was engaged by the perpetrator of the crime.
It sounded like the guy who did the stabbing is the one that started everything.
Yes, Damon Moore did start the shit. But to fucking pull a knife out and swing it at somebody's head.
See, there he was. That to me, it was, even if he didn't kill the guy, he just stabbed. That's attempted murder. Because if I draw a knife and I'm going to swing it at somebody, it's the intention to kill, not the intention to scare. If I just pulled a knife out and held it up like this in front of me, and be like,
brandishing it's not the same thing as fucking lunging forward or swinging discus punch style with the sumbitch. And then to get it in his temple, holy fucking shit. What a shot.
The skull's a little bit thick. So that was an awful lot of force that went into that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he had the liquor strength.
He did it with the intention to kill. I wouldn't even say second degree. I'd say first degree.
So now I'm going to roll this into my proposed criminal justice system reform platform that I've been beating my chest about for years, which I can obviously sit here and pontificate on because I've experienced it from working in the system and seeing these guys and gals who just keep coming back again and again and again. It comes to a certain point where our criminal justice system and this no cruel or unusual punishment shit does not fucking work. It does not deter crime.
Does not deter.
So if you have, I don't know, something kind of like a meat processing plant, and once you get to a certain point, they send you to, quote, the farm, and then you just walk through a door and boink, just fucking spike through the head, pneumatic spike, like they're doing a cow. So if a candidate came along in the next election, say 2020.
Here we go again.
Wide-eyed grin.
Yeah.
And that candidate said, my main focus is not necessarily going to be immigration reform, although we will pay careful attention to it. My main concern is not winding back the clock of political agendas to try to overthrow Roe v. Wade, because we've already crossed that bridge.
Yeah.
Don't tell women what to do with their bodies. I'm not here to try and thump some Bible banger mentality so we can stop letting the gays get married and adopt kids.
Hi.
And I'm also not going to try to dismantle the EPA because that's fucking retarded.
I don't think dismantling is a wise choice, but definitely take a look at what they're actually doing. Because some of these laws they're coming up with, especially in California where it's kind of run amok, they're a little man with a little power syndrome out there.
Fair point. But my main platform is criminal justice reform because I think we need to just stop with all this states' rights bullshit, because you could have 50 different laws to dictate punishment, imprisonment, 50 different fucking ways. there needs to be more federal power across the board with stuff like this. Instead of, well, we're not a death penalty state. Fuck you. All right? We should be a death penalty nation.
I'm a big believer in the death penalty. And I think as soon as they start executing criminals more and more and more, it might start deterring the ones that are thinking about doing something stupid.
You would fucking hope so. When you see in how many people that I would take out in the first 2 years alone.
Yeah. Now let me play this because I've been watching a lot of Forensic Files on Netflix. Okay.
You mean murder porn?
Yeah, basically. And there was this one. You hear the argument. It's like, what if an innocent man goes to prison? Stephen Avery in Manitowoc County in Wisconsin. People think he's innocent.
For making a murderer.
Yep. I was watching one last night. Was it last night? Night before? No, it was the night before. A man got arrested and thrown in prison for fatally stabbing somebody in an altercation in the street. And he kept fighting the conviction. And the way he got it go back to court was like, well, I didn't get my choice of lawyer. Which to me was like, listen here, douchebag. You stabbed somebody, he fucking died, go to jail. This, that, the other.
How strong was the evidence?
One eyewitness says that he saw the victim on top of the aggressor on top of the victim and stabbed him, but the guy who was being charged said, no, I was on the ground and he was on top of me, and the guy that stopped in the van, the witness, came over and was kicking me to assist the guy who was attacking me, and I stabbed in self-defense. And the guy who died, his girlfriend, says that she saw the guy on top. Her boyfriend who was being stabbed on the ground with the other guy on top. But, through blood splatter and everything, it's like, no, this is most likely what happened. But he got to go to retrial, and they did some more investigation as to how blood got on the front, if he was laying face down, because he says he stabbed over his shoulder, and this, that, and the other. And it turned around as like, okay, well, it turned out the girlfriend lied. The guy that was stabbed was known for starting fights and shit like that. The guy who stopped in the van says he got out of the van, he went over, and he did kick somebody, but when he was questioned about it, when he came forward as a witness, he got the descriptions mixed up. So this guy was actually innocent. What about that situation?
There's a certain level of proof that needs to be there, specifically with like sex crimes, because I want to fast track those motherfuckers into the grave.
Yep, I agree with that.
And I don't even mean like into a literal grave. I mean like we're just going to cremate you and sprinkle your ashes. Your family doesn't get your body. Fuck you. DNA evidence, video, like irrefutable evidence that corroborates the hypothesis that this person is the murderer.
Okay.
I'm not talking about forced confessions just so we can get rid of somebody.
I don't think forced confessions are true. Whole other video documentary I watched about confessions like that on tape. So,
right. So if there's proof without a doubt, bye. But maybe we need to go to, because I don't want to muddy the waters too bit, but I have to kind of segue into how you get right to executing people so frequently. California has a 3 strikes law.
Which is how many in actuality?
Or at least they did. If you get 3 felonies, it's life. It used to be. I believe they've done away with it.
A few moments later.
So in 1994, they enacted the 3 strikes law, and then they've had several revisions to it, most notably Prop 36 in 2012, where it changed to the imposition of a life sentence is only when the new felony conviction is serious or a violent offense. And then people that were sentenced to life in the past, if their third conviction was not serious or nonviolent, and the judge determines that the sentence does not pose a reasonable risk to public safety, so they will not give that person a life sentence.
So it sounds like you're talking about somebody who like robbed somebody of more than $1,000, or somebody who's hauling more than a pound of marijuana. Those people, which they let go, which I can understand that.
So like violent felonies.
If somebody was injured, bodily harm, stuff like that. Yeah, I got you.
You got somebody that's a serial tough guy that goes around peacocking on the block trying to start fights with people, and then he hurts people. Well, your third strike, you're out, motherfucker.
Yep. Literally out.
Yes.
We're going to walk in the back room, and you're not even going to be able to take your shoes off. You're going to be dead so quick.
Bolt spike to the skull. Boom, done. Or I've been a fan of, one bullet to the back of the head, gangland style, while they're on their knees with a blindfold on.
Yeah.
poetic justice there.
I like the idea of having him stand at the edge of a cliff and say, go ahead and jump. Either I'm going to shoot you or you can jump. Either way, you're going down the cliff.
It takes a lot of time and arguing and talking. And what if they just, all of a sudden they turn around and lunge at you and headbutt you in the face?
Well, you don't stand right behind them. You don't want to be within 10 feet.
You got to drive all the way out there.
Whatever.
The bullet might miss. It's point blank in a fucking room with a drain. That's it. Just like the fucking room that they shot most of Saw 1 in. Just a tile room with a drain in the floor.
Leave the previous victim in there.
Possibly. Well, you already know what's going to happen. But
yeah, but I mean, just let it sink in when they walk in there and see the dead body of the guy that was before him.
But here's my point now of how it helps more than just having fewer criminals. We need fewer people.
Yeah, did we have a discussion about this a while ago too?
Yes, I'm a huge proponent of zero population growth or negative population growth. We need fewer people. And when poor people have nothing to do, they fuck each other, and then they make more people that can't afford to live, so they end up on the government feed bag. Now, I'm not looking to go full-on purge and only punish and kill the poor with this, but the poor disproportionately commit more violent crimes, it seems, than, people that have jobs and are busy all fucking day.
Yeah.
I'm not accounting for the husbands that come home early from work to surprise their wife and are surprised themselves to find out that she's fucking throat deep in cock and it's not his.
Or it could be the hairy scissors too.
It could be. It could be. I don't know if he's going to shoot anybody over that or ask to join or what.
I honestly think if I walked in the room and saw that, it's like, can I at least join?
I'm going to be here in the corner masturbating. I'll try not to pant too heavily.
Yeah.
I don't want to break your rhythm, gals.
Don't get up. I'll just be over here.
So with fewer people, and it seems if there's more people committing crime that are of a lower socioeconomic status, sure, we should try to build them up and raise themselves out of poverty, but some people don't care.
Some people set up a system that won't let them.
Let's not get into systemic racism here.
It's not racism. It's anybody that's poor.
Right. So, for instance, you have people that commit crimes for the benefit of a gang. You just got jumped up to the front of the fucking line. For a gang, you killed somebody to get some street cred, and we got you dead to rights. Now we're going to get you bing, bang, boom, bye, in the ground. Sprinkle, sprinkle.
I was always a person that was always felt like the punishment should match the crime. So if you shot somebody in the chest and they bled out, that's what happens to you.
Too extreme. If you're going to try to woo all these fucking snowflake, heart on their sleeve left-wingers to like the death penalty because they think that you can reform everybody and you just got to kill them with kindness and they'll magically change. Like, if you tell the one bad attitude, heaven care bear, grumpy bear that, he's beautiful, maybe he'll change. He won't be so blue.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, anyway, so fuck that. I get what you're saying about, I call that true restorative justice. You raped my kid, so now you're going to die. I'm not going to go like rape your kid.
No.
Eye for an eye.
It happens to the person who did the crime.
Colon for a colon. And what your son did to my daughter, I'm going to do to his ass. That's not what I'm thinking. It's less grisly with a bullet to the back of the head. There's no worried about if the chemicals are going to kill him. There's no worried about if the chair is not going to work. All these other fucking stupid ideas they have of killing people. I mean, we could go back to shootings and hangings, but let's just shoot him in the back of the head or the side of the head to be sure.
Well, I'm just curious. It's like a bullet. How much is a bullet? Anywhere from 30 cents to 50 cents? For something that would definitely kill a person?
Yes, and the average cost of housing an inmate per year in a state prison is tens of thousands of dollars. And then you have people that are on a life sentence and they're old and they have cancer and shit, and we're spending, hundreds of thousands of dollars on insurance money to keep these fuckers alive. Why? Why are we trying to elongate the lives of people that we have just said, you're not a part of society, you lost your place. Goodbye. You're going to sit there and rot.
Once you're in prison, you sit there and rot, and if you get cancer, sorry, no treatment for you. You're just going to have a miserable end of your life, and now you can feel remorse for what you did so many years ago that put you back there.
And I'm not trying to politicize this guy's death specifically, like, well, look what happened to this guy. We should do. It's just another example of somebody who committed a fatal crime against another person who should not have been out on the street.
Yeah.
So that's how you kind of ease into it with the crowd that's, on the fence or absolutely against the death penalties. Look, these are people that are soaking up fucking important government dollars with their entitlement programs that they're living off the feed bag here, and they're not working, and they're hanging out, and they're doing dope, and they're fucking clocking welfare checks in multiple states, and they're fucking out there shooting up houses. You got kids that are catching stray bullets. I just want to throw this out there again. Still don't have a name of who shot Terrell Mays. Like, it's been like 4.5 fucking years.
I don't even remember that anymore.
That's how long ago that people... I could say Terrell Mays, and everybody's like, who? He was a fucking little child that died from a bullet coming through the wall. He's gone, and his mom's grief-stricken. They don't know who did it, but it was done, supposedly, or allegedly, drive-by style, and I don't know if it was the wrong house or what, but it was gang-affiliated violence. Fucking stupid.
It is.
Take those kids, line them up, bam, 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 bam. The one at the end of the line's got it the worst because he's got to listen to the fucking bullets echo in that room 3 fucking times before you get to him. Yeah. It's way better than rotting away in a cell. You can say that shit like, well, they don't get to see their family and they don't get to do this and they don't get to... Yeah, but they get to fucking hang out and watch TV and work out. And honestly, yeah, they have to like click up for their own safety, but... Why do we even need the Prison Rape Elimination Act if we take the worst of the worst and we fucking pop them off? And then you got the not-so-terrible people that are in there for stupid shit.
Yeah, the ones
like
that really
theft,
aren't that violent.
Yeah. You're not going to have people in jail anymore for marijuana-related crimes because Jmann's going to fucking legalize it, whether you want me to or not. Fuck you, it's legal. Bam. And then I'm taking away the DEA's power to both write the drug crimes and enforce them. See? It's a whole new world. And I'm not going to sit there and go on Twitter and say stupid shit, and I'm not going to sit there and grind personal axes with people, because who's got the time for that shit? You're supposed to be running the country. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be taking care of all the people, not just the ones that you like. Who's going to fucking argue with that platform like, hey, are you sick of a two-party system that continually leaves us with the choice between a douche and a shit sandwich? As South Park put it ever so eloquently years ago, fuck this shit. No, I'm in power now. Fuck you. Why even have an election? Fucking go in there and coup. Coup the fuck out of it. It's a fucking coup. And you just take the White House, you say, look, bitches, here's how we're doing it. We're going to make things better. We're going to save a bunch of money on the people that we're killing by not having to house them in prison and pay for their food stamps.
Streamline the process.
And then maybe we could take some of that money we save and, I don't know, maybe de-leadify the pipes in Flint, Michigan so those people can have some fucking potable drinking water. Now I'm not targeting the poor. I'm targeting the worst of the poor so I can help the other poor. And all those people that were hanging around, well, maybe there's more jobs now for the other people that want jobs. I mean, you got people that are dead now, right? So they're probably leaving empty houses. Well, fuck, we kind of have a homeless problem, don't we? See how the dominoes start to fall?
Well, we need to change the name of it. Not homelessness. It's houselessness. They need physical, tangible structures.
Yeah. And
you can write home, sweet home, and live underneath a bridge.
Right. And here's another person. A lot of homeless people have drug problems. So here's another facet of who's getting fast-tracked to the spike to the headline there. It's people that sell fucking drugs that prove fatal. You're selling heroin and then you give it to people and then they fucking OD and die because it was fentanyl laced? And then we catch you?
Spike to the skull.
Shink. Bye. We're humanizing criminals to a point that we don't need to.
Yeah. No, I gotcha.
Interact with the show on Twitter at, what do we call it? That is at, what do we call it? You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/group/what do we call it podcast show. For the What Do We Call It podcast, I'm Jmann.
And I'm number one fan, Tim.
And that's the end.